that are, being paraded around. So I just really want to get everybody's input on the respect, why that lack of respect is there, and how. Of course, this show is all about solutions. So, how do we now start to build up that respect for each other?
Can I go first?
Right, go ahead.
Mix it up. This is Kevin again. Basically, with respect, how I learned it from growing up disrespectful. I grew up disrespectful. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I knew what was right, but I didn't do it. But getting older and not liking the results that I got, like not respecting authority, being in and out of jail over stupid stuff. You respect yourself, and the more you respect yourself, then you have like a source to pull from to respect strangers, animals, nature, anything. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the reason why the respect isn't there is because it's a lack of respect for yourself. So personally, now if someone gets disrespectful with me, instead of jumping disrespectful and going back and forth with them, I just basically take that opportunity to exercise my freedom to either walk away or address it respectfully. Maybe they never had anybody show them like, hey, you may have stepped on my shoe, but I don't have to like automatically like steal off you or try to embarrass you or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really how you carry yourself based off of your own personal respect levels. I think that'll change. That changes everything. Like people deal with me differently because within a matter of minutes, you can basically tell if somebody's gonna get down with you if you want some disrespectful stuff. If you want to walk away, then that's your own prerogative. If you want to fight, that's cool, but you can still keep it respectful, whatever it is you do.
I think one thing that I do want to talk about that was mentioned earlier is the fact that it's something that has been learned, and at this point it's extremely generational. Back to, if you want to go back as far as slave days and talk about how the black man was, given alcohol so that he could get belligerent and they could fight one another until they were bloody, for the entertainment of their masters, or to the point that you saw the man and the woman beat, and disrespected the woman, raped, and the man had to watch, and all these things that happened, even up until you get to the 60s with the projects and when they were built, and how it was designed to remove the black man from the household. That's what it was for. It was to separate. Let's just be for real about it. It was designed for nothing more than to remove the black man from the household. And unfortunately, we have not come back from that. We have not figured out a way to bring our unions back together. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about our music is the only music that you will listen to and hear black women disrespected to the point that they are. We don't turn on the music and hear about how beautiful you are and how much I want to love you and be with you. Not enough. Our music is about, get this from her, get that from her, because she ain't about nothing no way, so on and so forth.
And then
every woman is a whore, even to
We're all
a 2-year-old.
Exactly. Right.
And it's pretty
down to the baby.
I was just actually on the outside, but it blows my mind that even on initial meeting of a woman, a black woman particularly, every woman is valued down to less than a whore. And it can be a woman who's not even a woman, and she could be a child, to keep sending these images and these opinions about us. Even as childhood, we believe that. You're not going to keep telling a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 10-year-old that she's a whore, or her sister is, or her mother is, and she not believe it for her own self. And we cannot continue to keep sending these because we don't know how, our minds don't know how to compartmentalize what is true and what is false at early ages. And by the time we are grown, we believe that no matter how much we say it's wrong. And a child isn't even, I've seen so many young girls who are 12, aren't even sexually active, call them each other whores and bitches, and I'm sorry, but and it's really disheartening because it's hard to come back from that. And the boys believe it. The boys believe too that these girls, upon not even of any type of sexual orientation, are nothing more than sex objects, and they're whores.
Yes.
And that's really sad. And that young girl who was shot in the face, she was murdered because he felt like he was entitled to her body. He felt disrespected because she wasn't giving it to him. He's not owed that. She's a human being. She doesn't have to give him anything.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's so much to be said about this. I mean, it really is. And, you know, it really takes me back to my upbringing, right? And how really like how whorism and stuff like that even was glorified when we were coming up. So it's been glorified for a long time, right? But when I was coming up, I was conflicted because in my house I had a strong black woman who was a single mother. You know, I had a stepfather, and I spoke on this just yesterday. I had a stepfather who was present, but he didn't play the role. He had the title, but he didn't play the role, right? So, you know, I had the streets. I had, you know, my boys, and, you know, I ran the streets a lot and stuff like that, and did a whole lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing, and a whole lot of things that if my mother found out about, it would have been a problem. That's why she don't know until now. You know, she's just now finding out. But the things that I used to do, but it's so indicative, the way that we act, it's so indicative to, it really is indicative to our upbringing and what, you know, kind of how society molded a lot of us. And April had put that post up, right? And we had a young man who commented, and I'm going to read it verbatim. She put the post up about, her name is Tiara, right?
The young lady.
Yeah.
No, her name is. Oh, you know what?
I thought it was Tiara.
Okay, I was thinking her
Yeah,
name.
yeah. So April put a post up about it, and we had a young man. He said, "Why does this one man's insufficiency get applied to an entire race?" And April hadn't said anything. I went ahead and replied, and I said, "It isn't applied to the entire race. Of course, we all are individuals, and some raise differently than others." I said, "However, what April is alluding to is the increasing epidemic of black men taking the lives of black women due to an emotional deficiency and possessive nature. Most of us black men were raised to be tough and emotionless, which has consequently been a detriment for us, our children, our friends, our parents, our spouses, so on and so forth." And
that was so eloquently put, mind you, because I was not gonna write nothing like that. I'm gonna just keep it real, cause you was on my other post when I was going back and forth with it. I don't talk like that. I'm gonna just let it be known, cause you know I ain't talking about everybody. If it doesn't apply to you, I don't understand why people want to jump on and I'm not making a generalization. That's not what I do. But when the numbers speak, you have to look at the numbers, and I'm going to talk about them. I'm going, yeah, and that's true. That's true. But don't you just don't jump on my stuff talking like that, because and
accountability is an issue.
yeah, oh yeah,
and that's a huge issue, and that's what I don't get. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I say I was really gonna tell them, look at the numbers, then holler at me. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a fact that, and I'm going, like I said, I'm going to talk about the numbers once we get to that point. I don't want to get too much into it yet, because I still want to stay on topic. But you know what I'm saying? It is a fact with these numbers what is going on. So accountability is not saying, we don't want men to be like, that's not happening. We want you all, even the men that aren't doing it, to say, okay, right, it's wrong. And if you can play a part in writing it, then that's what you should be doing. Not sitting here turning a blind eye to it like we're complaining or we're nagging
or laughing.
Or you know what I'm saying? Making it
entertainment.
Yeah, it's a joke, or it's not that. That's what we're looking for, or trying to go, in a battle of saying that we're generalizing men or we're men bashing. That's not what we're doing.
I think one of the things I talked about last time I was here is that black women don't get to have a voice, because when we have that voice, we're told that we're nagging or we're angry.
Exactly. We're angry black women.
They find a way to completely invalidate what we're saying and discount it. So if you discount it, you have to deal with it. You know what I mean? So I can tell you how something makes me feel. That doesn't make me angry. It doesn't make me, have the stereotypical attitude. I'm just letting you know that it's not okay with me and I don't like it. So you don't have to call me out of my name. You don't have to find a way to take the onus off of you by saying, oh, she's an angry black woman. When it could be the furthest thing from that.
Yep.
That's a huge problem. So our voice is constantly taken away from us.
And you know what? I had that issue with my fiance when we got together. Of course, she was used to being in relationships like that where, her voice didn't matter. And what she said, didn't count. It was discounted and everything like that. So we would get in debates and stuff like that, and she wouldn't say anything. I'm like, tell me what you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to agree with it. But I want to know what's on your mind. Just like I'm expressing what I feel, I need you to express what you feel and what you think. You know, both of our points, both of our, you know, emotions or feelings are both valid. We can agree to disagree, but that is so true. That is so very true. And then going back to what you said about the music, not only does men glorify this behavior, women do as well. You got all of these women on Instagram talking about, if you ain't buy me Gucci, Louis, Prada, and all this stuff, I don't want you and all that stuff. That's why you don't have a husband. And ain't nobody checking for you in that manner. Because this is what you expect. This is what you require. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a brainwashing almost. You know?
Yeah, I saw somebody shared a post where a young lady was saying if he ain't spending the minimum of $500 on you a month, why you don't let right right? That's what I'm like. I had to pause and think like, wait a minute, 500, like. You got the nerve to put out an expectation, and that expectation ain't. Come on, right?
That's a car note.
Right. I'm like, that ain't even rent, boo boo. Like, what are you talking about? Right. I'm like, that's it? Oh.
Is that rent at the Blue Door?
Like, right. I'm like, so, you know, and everybody was like, you know, they were asking for thoughts. I didn't comment on, because that was my whole standpoint is, like, first of all, we shouldn't, I agree with Kevin. Okay.
That's me.
I'm sorry, yeah. But I agree with you when you say the expectations. Like, you know, we should not be placing expectations. And I have that issue. I had that issue with my husband too. I can keep it real. You know, I had, you know, expectations, and I had to check myself. Like, wait a minute. You know, like, I should not be placing these expectations on somebody just because, you know, everybody is different. And everybody, you know, is just like Dre, you know, said, everybody is raised different. Everybody has different understanding. Everybody has different experiences. So you cannot base your experiences and what you think and force it on somebody else and have those expectations. And then when they don't meet them, you're disappointed. And then it becomes a problem. It becomes a huge problem, because I feel like most of us move on expectations. So that's what we base a lot of our things off of, and then that's just become issue after issue after issue after issue. And so we have to start meeting people where they are and understanding people, and like Chanel said, communication. You know, if you have that expectation of somebody, let them know, and then they can let you know, okay, well, that's not something that I know how to do, or that's not something that I can do, or that's not something that I've learned how to do, you know, and so I need, you know, this is what needs to happen next. And so I feel like that is a big thing. And when it comes to the respect, when we have those high expectations, when we off the bat meet somebody, we already, like he said, we already have like an outline. And so once they don't meet one thing off that, it's like you automatically lose respect for them. And then it become, you know, and then I feel like that's a huge issue too. You can't meet somebody with a list of expectations. Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, look, I feel, I mean, you can have your, you know, your standards and your, you know, some things that, you know what I'm saying? But just like, I mean, the little thing, like, I feel like people dig too much and make it too complex. And then that's when it becomes a problem. Like, you have to, like you said, you have to learn somebody. Like, you can't just go to them and be like, I want you to have this, 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 and this. And then when they showing, you know, different things, and you start like, wait, you know, this is not what I want, you know, but you have to try to, you know, learn a person. That's where, you know, courting comes in and dating comes in. And we actually had an interesting, I don't think it was a conscious conversation when I was on the panel of situationships. A guy was on there, and he was from Jamaica. I don't think it was Jamaica. He was from another country, and he was saying how he noticed that we don't really court. And we don't really, you know, involve, you know, like our family doesn't meet, you know, our significant others. And he was like, that is big, you know. He feels like culturally that's where we came from, you know, as a culture. We were a village. We, you know, when we courted, you know, our families knew who we were. with. And nowadays it's kind of like, that was what it was